Welcome back to the Great Give 2018 Radiothon on WNHH FM, New Haven's home for community radio. We're in the home stretch, folks, but we're just getting started because we can smell success. We're so close to it. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. We're in the home stretch of a 36-hour annual fundraising extravaganza. 488 nonprofits who make life better in our community, enrich our lives, are working together to raise money.
That's right.
As we do every year, have some friendly competitions, some prizes. But the total we're aiming for, we want to break last year's record, is $1.5 million. We got until 8 o'clock tonight. We've been meeting with some of the people who do that work. If you'd like to help us do that work at WNHH, you can go to thegreatgive.org, type in WNHH, and please give to a lot of groups. And now we have a woman from Mission Control, from the war room of, let's say, of the Great Give. Stephanie Chung, what's your title at the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven?
I am the Nonprofit Relations Officer at
All
the
right.
Community Foundation. Yep, and so we are set up in the second floor in our conference room, and we have our headquarters, and we're just watching the leaderboard. We're refreshing every 5 minutes.
And I'm going to ask you to get real close to that mic.
Okay.
So what's the latest? How much have we raised for the Great Give?
So right now we are at $1,293,918.43.
What was last year's total?
So last year's total, if you count all of the prize money from the foundation, we were about 1.4. And this year, as you mentioned, our goal is 1.5.
Does the number you gave us include the prize money?
The 1.5?
No, the 1.29.
No. Well, it only includes some of the prize money.
So how much is not accounted for?
A lot of the big prizes. So all of the competitive grand prizes are not included in this number. So these are the hourly prizes.
So does it look like we've pretty much matched last year's, and now we got to throw on the
I would say
moment?
yes.
So now the momentum, we got to keep the momentum going.
Yes.
Because it's now a little before 3. That gives 5 hours. We got to get that last 100,000.
And it's entirely possible.
It
right?
is possible.
And I would say let's not just shoot for another 100,000.
Okay, let's keep
shoot
going.
for like,
Let's raise the bar.
yeah. Why
it's
not
not
1.7?
I mean, like this year, and as Will Ginsburg said, the CEO of the foundation was in here. There's a time when we're really on the streets fighting for immigrant rights. We're fighting to house people in tough economic times.
That's right.
Food insecurity, otherwise known as hunger, is growing in so many of our neighborhoods, with up to half the people going at some point in the month when they don't have money for a meal to feed themselves and their kids.
Right.
There's a lot going on, as you've been
There's a
hearing
lot
this
going on.
radiothon, and it's so great that the Community Foundation brought everyone together, 488 organizations to raise money. We're having fun doing it. You got a new character, a new mascot, cartoon
Gigi.
character, GGG for Give Greater.
Right.
But you gave her a beret, so
We
she's
did.
she's Gigi, right?
Yes.
Not Gigi, Gigi.
Gigi, yes.
And Gigi's Kathleen Shea from your shop has been taking her during these 36 hours. She was she was spotted at happy hour at
She
bar,
was.
and I
She
still
was.
haven't found out what did she drink at bar.
You know, I'm not sure. We'd have to ask Kathleen. I think Kathleen was there, as her caretaker, and Kathleen may know, but I'm gonna go.
Not
with,
chaperone, you say caretaker.
Well, chaperone. Kathleen kind of looks out for her, making sure that she makes all of her appearances and she has everything she needs. I would guess maybe she had a Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple. What about the pizza? Because the pizza bar is pretty great
The pizza is
from
pretty
the brick
great at the
oven.
bar.
So yeah.
It is.
So I don't
New Haven has
blame.
a lot of
I
really
don't
good
blame
pizza.
Gigi for going to the happy hour.
Right.
What other kind of events have you been doing, Stephanie? Because before it starts, you do so much work getting nonprofits set up so that they
Right.
can accept the donations, helping them figure out how to get the word out. Your email box, I'm sure, is jammed. Everybody's is these 36 hours with the plea for donations. Setting up within those 36 hours competitions and events to get new energy at different points.
Right.
What about once it started? What have you been doing these last 36 hours?
So the last 36 hours, we've been working with nonprofits, helping them to access their real-time donation report, helping them with a lot of different questions that are coming in. We are on a new platform this year.
Yeah, because you had some problems with an old one. Not you,
Yeah,
the whole
well,
country. Communities Foundation across the whole
yeah,
country had some problems.
So, last year we did have some challenges. There was a little glitch in the technology, and it took a little bit longer than anyone liked to have it addressed.
But now this year it's all working.
but this year it's all working
seamlessly.
It is smooth sailing. It is incredibly exciting.
You must be relieved.
Yeah, I am.
So what kind of questions you been getting in these 36 hours?
Some of the questions are coming from donors or just around the navigation of the website, helping them find the donation form for the nonprofit they're looking to give to, helping them complete the donation form. Some of the questions from the nonprofits, as I mentioned, about how to access their real-time donation.
I've been finding it
report.
easy, by the way. I'm not particularly
Right.
good on the web, and I think you guys did a great job this year.
Yeah, well, so
I'm the test monkey. If I can do it, then you got it right.
it is really easy. And the donation form is very quick. It doesn't take long at all to complete. One of the nice features that I liked about the donation form this year was it actually, as you type in your credit card information, there's an image of a credit card. And as you type it out, you could see it kind of it's getting filled out on the card and the form. And that's just it's kind of nice, especially for all of us visual learners. So it kind of made me feel like a little bit, because I'm the one to type my numbers and then double check and make sure. And so it added a layer that made me feel a little bit more
Stephanie, do you
comfortable.
have some results of who's been winning in some of the categories so far?
Sure. So if you go on to www.thegreatgive.
Don't forget the.
Yes. Do not forget the, otherwise you will not end up at the giving
Who
site.
knows you're going to end up.
But if you go on to www.thegreatgive.org, you will land on the giving site. And if you navigate over to prizes, you can actually see who's won some of the prizes already. And so, as I've mentioned, the large competitive prizes, the grand prizes, we will not be able to announce those until after the giving event is over, because those are really at the end.
What
of
are
the
those
giving event.
prizes and how much? What are they for?
So, for example, we have a prize for the 90th anniversary grand prize. That was actually a prize that for the nonprofit from 7:30 yesterday to 9 o'clock p.m., 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., 90 minutes. It was in recognition of the foundation's 90th anniversary. And that prize of $9,000 is going to the donation that had the greatest number of unique donors during that 90
That's a great
period.
idea because you want to keep people busy all the time. So who won that one?
So we don't know because that's also a grand prize. And
That's a grand prize. Okay.
it is a grand prize at $9,000, but there are other grand prizes. So, for example, we have the greatest number of unique donors. There's actually a top 5, with the first prize being $15,000.
Ooh.
So the reason why we don't know who the prize winner of the 90th anniversary grand prize is because that organization may also be eligible for another grand prize, and so highest prize prevails. So that's why we won't know until after the giving event is over, when we're looking at all of the data and the different spreadsheets and everything to determine the winners. So there's the greatest number of unique donors. There's going to be 5 winners. The first place prize is $15,000, and it goes all the way down to the 5th place prize, which is $2,000. We have the greatest number of new donors, also top 5. The first prize a winner is $10,000, and the 5th prize winner is $1,500. And so so for example, the 2nd place prize is $5,000, the 3rd place is $3,000, and the 4th place is $2,500. We have the most money raised, which is a very exciting prize. That's last year. There was actually the very final hour. We had some healthy competition going on between 2 very well known.
Who were they?
It was Music Haven and New Haven Land Trust. They were kind of
Who came out on top?
Well, they both won a prize. I believe that it was the New Haven Land Trust who won the most money raised, but please don't quote me on that. I'd have to look back
just
at my
between
records,
us.
and everyone else listening. But please don't quote me on that. But it's the last hour where we really, in the past few years, we've seen the leaderboard. You refresh, and it keeps going up and going up. You have donors. It's the end of the 2nd day. They're coming home from work. They've had dinner. That's when they're going on to make their gifts for the first time. You have donors who have their set of favorite nonprofits and just really want to see them do well, really want to see them leverage the most prize and match money. And so they may give again, or they take that last hour to go out and really, talk to their friends and family and encourage them to give. Speaking of that, one of the new features of the platform this year, there's a number of new features, but there's peer-to-peer fundraising. So leading up to the giving event, organizations were able to engage their staff, their donors around peer-to-peer fundraising. And these fundraising champions are then using social media and their circles of influence to engage donors and to either get current donors to give, to continue to give again, to give more, or to reach new donors that perhaps have never given to this organization. And so a few of the organizations that are taking advantage of that peer-to-peer fundraising would be Creative Arts Workshop. They have a number of individuals who are taking advantage of that. So, for example, one of their fundraising champions is Cheryl Hart, and through her peer-to-peer fundraising efforts has already raised the organization $825.
All right, go share.
Yeah, and then we also have Booker T. Washington, who is taking advantage
Great
of the
school.
peer-to-peer fundraising. Great school. And so they have a few fundraising champions who are out there really trying to get, again, their circle of influence to come around and support this nonprofit.
So we're talking to Stephanie Chung from the Community Foundation Greater New Haven, part of the mission control team for the Great
Yes.
Give. And this is the Great Give Radiothon on WNHH-FM. We're raising money for 488 non-for-profits in our area, and we have only till 8 o'clock to try to reach and
No.
transcend our goal
I think we'll do
of
it.
1.5 million. And you go to thegreatgive.org to give your donation. Stephanie, tell me about some of the categories people have already won. Who won some of the prizes already?
So some of the prizes, okay, let's see. So the early bird prizes have already been announced. $1,000 was awarded to 5 organizations who
Each
$1,000 each to 5 organizations who had the greatest number of unique donors from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the very first day of the giving event. And so Elm City Internationals,
All right. They were just in here last hour.
Neighborhood Music School,
Mm-hmm.
Home Haven,
Mm-hmm.
Elm City Chamber Fest,
They
and
were
Center
yesterday.
Stage Theater, they all won a...
Good. And that $1,000 goes far.
It
We heard about
does.
that when they're coming in. Yeah.
It does, especially for a small organization. Center Stage Theater is out in the valley. They're a small organization. $1,000
Goes
is
far.
Yeah. it's
So
pretty
tell
big
me,
for them.
Stephanie, what other prizes have been given out so far?
So we have the Valley Early Bird Prize. That was to the organization with the most new donors, and Shelton High School marching band won that prize, the Marching Band Parent Association. We have a number of different prizes. So the Lunch Hour Prize, $1,000 was awarded to Calvin Hill Daycare Center. And then we had the Happy Hour Prize, and the New
That was
Haven
at bar.
$1,000. And New Haven Land Trust won that prize.
They work it hard.
They, you
That's nice of
know,
them.
they
Just came
really
in here
do.
and he did an original song on guitar to try to give you one.
You know what? I was watching it. It was amazing.
Did you see Chris George's song about the federally mandated, his favorite federal regulation about culturally appropriate meals that you
Meals.
give refugees in 2 hours when they get home?
Yes.
Hot meals, yeah.
You know, it's
He gave it a lot. People can put a lot into this.
yeah, they do, and you know, it's nice to see. I think it's great, Paul, that you do this, that you open your studios.
It's fun.
up.
It feels good for me. It's a lift to see all the people doing good work and let them make their case.
It's great. Well, it's great, and you know, you really get to. It's one thing to go online and read an organization's mission. I mean, we have so many organizations, 488, doing amazing work in the Greater New Haven area, and you know, it's wonderful to support these organizations. To add a layer to that, where you can actually listen to someone and see them and just, you know, folks really wear their heart on their sleeve, and you know, it's great. It's just so nice to hear from people. and
Well,
to see
Stephanie
them.
Chung, tell me, in some of the categories, they're still open. I know that people,
Yes.
one way we keep the energy up on these final hours of the Great Give is organizations competing for those big prizes then
Right.
get to email all their supporters again and say, help us get this big prize. If you make a $100 donation now, we'll get there. Tell me the big categories and who are the finalists.
Okay, well, we don't know who the finalists are. As I mentioned, we don't start to look at those.
Do we know who's
at that
leading or no?
data. No,
So they can't write their people saying we're getting close to the top.
well, they could. So individual nonprofits, if you go on to www.thegreatgive.org and you navigate to the leaderboard, right? There is two different leaderboards there that can help a nonprofit kind of, figure out what they might be in line
So in other words,
for.
the general public can't see who the finalists are, but the organizations themselves can see if they're in that list.
Well, the leaderboard is publicly viewable to everyone. So, for example, if you go on to the leaderboard, and the very first leaderboard that appears is the most money raised. So you could sort the leaderboard by dollars raised, and we could see right now that Iris has the number one spot.
Ooh, go Iris.
Go Iris, with
Whoa.
$55,025.
That's money.
That's
They're
big
like paying
money,
a staff
right?
person with the Great Give.
Yes,
That's fantastic. It's going to help
that's fantastic.
families get resettled. Wow.
And then right under Iris with $50,506.50 is Center Stage Theater.
Okay, Center Stage has been doing it.
Yeah,
Center
small
Stage really been
theater
working it.
group in the Valley, and
Wow.
they do very well.
That's fantastic that they did that. They must get some supporters to be able to do this.
Well, they have a core group of youth who participate in their theater programs, and the parents. The young people use their own social media platforms to blast out that Center Stage is going to be competing in the Great Give. They put flyers and inserts in all their programs, all their theater, their stage performances, leading up to the Great Give. And they really work very hard. And then in the third spot, we have Music Haven with $35,453.
They always throw down for this.
They do. And in the fourth spot, we have Neighborhood Music School. And then in the fifth place, we have St. Martin. So those 5 organizations that are currently on the leaderboard for most money raised, those would be the 5 organizations that, if we take a moment, like right now, would be the ones vying for.
So they and the ones that are next, they're probably going to be sending you an email if you're on their lists in the next 5 hours and say 5 hours to go. We get a lot at stake if we can win this.
But I just want to point out that New Haven
Meanwhile,
Land
being in the
Trust,
competition gets them a lot of money.
It does. Well, and New Haven Land Trust is currently in the 6th spot. They're right under St. Martin.
Okay.
I mean, they are about $400 under St. Martin. So it's these last few hours where in the past, we have seen organizations that might be, on the 10th, 12th place on the leaderboard, all of a sudden bump up. They get a big donor.
So Stephanie Chung, what do you do and the others at Mission Control, the Community Foundation? How are you going to spend your next 5 hours?
So, from now until 8 o'clock, we will be working with donors, working with nonprofits, any questions that may come in. We will start to, the questions you're asking me about, who's in the running for the most money raised. We'll start to look at things like that, although we know in these final hours the numbers really can change quite rapidly. And so we'll just kind of start looking at it seeing, speculating, looking, thinking about who might win, who on the list, as I mentioned, New Haven Land Trust can really jump up. We're going to start putting together, although the communications department, Trish and Ratasha, Kathleen, they have already started to kind of create the skeleton of a press release, because we don't know who the big prize winners are.
And when does that go out? Tomorrow morning?
Yeah, the plan is for it to go out as soon as possible, but we don't want to put anything out that's
not final. True.
That isn't final.
So you don't usually do it that night, do you?
No, we don't.
You got to add it up. You got to get it right.
Exactly. We have.
So do you guys get a break? Do you go straight through 36 hours? Did people sleep last night?
I think so. A few
hours
hours here and there.
You're doing this 9 years. You should have it down.
A few
hours.
Yeah.
So do you get to sleep tonight, or do you have to work all night crunching the numbers?
So with every giving event, we get better and better at what it is, what numbers do we need to crunch, how do we need that information to be provided to us to make for easy crunching. And so every year it does take less time than the year prior. It can take several hours. So, we're getting there. I would say the giving event ends at 8. Hopefully we know who the big prize winners are by midnight.
Well, Stephanie Chung, your crew at the Community Foundation Organization has gotten better and better every year. You were good to start. And after 9 years, the Great Give has gone great guns. And I feel it in my bones that we're going to break the record
I
this
think
year.
so.
We're going to hit 1.5 million and maybe go beyond. I got to tell you how much I've enjoyed having WNHH and being part of it on this end, working with you folks on the Great Give Radiothon. What a wonderful thing each year. 488 nonprofits doing great work in New Haven, coming together and raising money to keep the work moving forward. Folks, www.thegreatgive.org. Don't forget thegreatgive.org. We got 5 hours to go. Please visit again. Look up organizations, including WNHH and many others you've heard here. And please give some money. We're going to keep the radiothon going. We're taking a 1-hour break. And on La Voce's radio station, we're going to have immigration reform, which is one of the big issues this year. Then we're going to be back at 4 o'clock with the New Haven Symphony Orchestra. So hold tight. Keep supporting this great event. Thanks for hanging with us. We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free. We know what it's like to be free. We just got to remember to book our flight. Book your flight with us all day and all night long here at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.